Bellwether Purchasing Manager, also known as BPM, has very flexible approval rules. You can create unlimited levels of approval, and more than one rule may be triggered by a single order based on the conditions. You can create conditions in BPM for the dollar amount of the order, what project budget or GL account the order will be tied to, the types of items on an order, or any other custom condition that you want to create to trigger an approval chain. We're going to run through a few scenarios of orders based on 3 approval rules. Our first rule is a dollar-based rule that has 3 levels. If the order dollar amount is over $50, Amy must approve it. If the order dollar amount is over $1,000, in addition to Amy, Dave also must approve it. And if the order is over $10,000, in addition to Amy and Dave, Janet must also approve the order before it can move to the next step in the process. Rule number 2 is based on the type of items on the order. We commonly see IT managers wanting to be consulted before IT items are purchased, so we've created an IT consult rule. If any item on the order is an IT item, our IT manager, Andy, must approve the order. Our third rule will be based on the project type. Sandy is in charge of Project B and wants to approve all orders related to Project B. In scenario number 1, we have an order for $20,000 for furniture, and it's related to Project E. In this scenario, Amy, Dave, and Janet, all 3 levels of the first rule, will be triggered. Our second order is $750, and it has IT items on it, but it's not related to any project. This will trigger rules 1 and 2. However, for rule 1, it will only trigger the first level, Amy, to approve it, and then in rule 2, Andy must approve it because there are IT items on the order. Our third order is $7,500 with IT items, and it's for Project B. For this order, we must have 4 different approvers from the 3 different rules. The first rule will require Amy and Dave the first 2 levels, but not Janet because it's not over $10,000, and it has IT items, so Andy must approve it from rule number 2, and since it's related to Project B, Sandy must also approve the order. Now we will show you how to create the rules in BPM. We're going to create our first rule, which is based on the dollar amount of the order. To create our dollar-based rule, we must add our first level of approval. Our first level says any order over $50 and Amy must approve it. The second level of our rule says if it's over $1,000, Dave must approve it. And the third level says if it's over $10,000, Janet must approve it. We have now created our 3-level dollar-based rule. Our second rule will be our IT consult rule that says that all orders with IT items on it must be approved by our IT manager, Andy. So first, we enter Andy as our approver. And since we do not care about the dollar amount, we put 0 in. Our condition is not only if it's a requisition, it must also be an IT product. We have now created our IT consult-based rule that states any IT items must also be approved by Andy. The third rule we're going to create is based on the project. So if there's any orders for Project B, Sandy must approve it. So for our Project B rule, we first add Sandy. And then our condition that it must be Project B. And we have now created our approval rule for Project B. Bellwether Purchasing Manager allows for conditions that you can create custom fields for. We created a custom field called Project. You could have called this field whatever you want and done an approval rule based on whatever condition you would like it to be.